Hi you guys, my name is Cherita and I am driving. Today I wanted to talk about the movie Queen and Slim. I went and saw that yesterday and honestly I'm still affected by it, and I really just kind of want to talk about it because while it was a good movie, there's some things that I just didn't agree with. If you haven't seen the movie, I suggest that you click off the video now because I'm definitely going to be spoiling the movie. But if you've seen the movie, or if you don't plan on seeing the movie, or you don't mind the spoilers, then go ahead and keep watching. Okay, so when I first saw the trailer for Queen and Slim, I was like, okay, yes, two black leads, two dark-skinned black leads at that, and then it talks, something happens where the male, who is Slim, he kills a cop, and it was self-defense, and then they go on the run. So when I first went into the movie, I'm thinking that this movie is going to be about how, about how not everything is what it seems, and how there are racist cops, and I thought it was going to be like a true teaching lesson. So I was ready to have that conversation. I was ready for that to be the main focal point of the movie. Well, it wasn't, and it ended up being just another black trauma movie, which I stay away from on purpose because being black is already a death sentence when it comes to society. So why do I want to go and watch a movie about black trauma? That's just not something that I want to do, because that could be me, that could be my son, that could be my family, that could be, my mom, my friends, my dad, like whoever. So I don't like to watch those types of movies. I like movies to be a getaway. I really don't see an issue with black people having a fantasy type movie. I wanted a happy ending. We did not get that. So that really bothered me. But I understand why they did it. It's real life. That's what it is. So let me just go ahead and give you a synopsis of the movie. So it starts off with Queen and Slim. They're on a Tinder date. They're eating at a restaurant, and Queen pretty much tells Slim, I'm only on this date because I was, I had a bad day, or I was bored, and, I didn't want to be alone. And that's how their dynamic started. Then they get in the car, and they're just joking and, laughing and hee-heeing, and she takes his phone, and then he snatches it away from her, and when he snatches it away, he kind of swerves. So he gets pulled over. Now, immediately, they're very uncomfortable, and, they're looking straight forward. They're not, saying anything to the cop, anything out of pocket, and it escalated pretty quickly. It went from license and registration to get out of the car, and right then and there shows that from what happened from that point forward was nothing but self-defense because of how the cop acted. And what people fail to believe, or what they don't want to believe, is cops act like that towards people, and specifically black and brown people, all the time. So when you see these innocent people getting shot, and people always saying, well, what happened before, something like this probably happened before. And so miss me with the whole, I need the whole story, because 99% of the time, the whole story does not justify a deadly shooting. If you guys think that just because a person chooses to be a cop, and which is admirable, but they chose that lifestyle, black people don't choose to be black. So when you see people like, oh, thank you cops for doing this and that, how come you're not thinking, or how come you don't have that same kind of empathy towards a person who did not choose their lifestyle? But again, that wasn't the topic of that really wasn't the premise of the movie. But it was very clear that when Slim shot the cop, which he shot the cop because the cop shot Queen because she got out of the car, because the cop drew his gun for no reason. He drew his gun when Slim was like, hey, can you speed this up because it's cold? Like, they live in Ohio, so it was freezing. And he's like, can you speed it up? I'm cold. And basically the cop was like, what'd you say to me? And pointed the gun. Like, there's no reason that he needed to draw his gun. He was in no danger. And so Queen gets out of the car and she's like, I'm reaching for my cell phone. And then the cop shoots Queen. And then Slim ends up, wrestling with the cop and shoots him in self-defense. And right away, Queen is like, we need to go. Like, it doesn't matter if there's a dash cam. It doesn't matter if there's a body cam. We are black. And she's a lawyer, so she knows that she knows it's not going to work out in our favor no matter how you try to spin the narrative. I mean, look at what just happened with Amber Geiger or whatever her name is. She walked into a black man's home, shot and killed him, and she only got 10 years. Like, what kind of BS is that? All because, she's a cop, she's white, she's pretty, she's like, that's a whole situation for a whole other day. But that's real life. That is reality. And she's like, we have to go. So they flee. And now, even when the video started circulating, all of a sudden they're armed and dangerous. But he definitely shot that cop out of self-defense. And the video shows it. One of the first people that they came across that kind of rubbed me the wrong way was a mechanic. So they're in this car, the car breaks down, they need to go to a mechanic, and the mechanic fixes their car, but basically takes all their money. And he said something like, oh yeah, I know who you guys are. And Queen's like, well, how come you didn't give us a break? And or Slim, one of them was like, how come you didn't give us a break? And the mechanic, who happened to be a black man, was like, because I'm not like these other people. I think you guys are in the wrong. You should have just taken your ticket and left. There was never an opportunity for Slim to just take the ticket. It was, I'm pulling you over. He told his whoever on the walkie-talkie, this might be a possible DUI. So that was already in his head when it wasn't a DUI. He wasn't drinking. And it went from license and registration to step out of the car. So there was never an opportunity for him to just get his ticket. And again, things like this happen all the time. But, Queen was like, you weren't there. You don't know. And the guy was like, still, I would have just taken my ticket. That's literally the same thing as, oh, you should have just complied. If you complied, you wouldn't have gotten shot. That's not true. You can comply all you want to. Things still aren't going to go your way. I have my own situation that happened to me when I was in Las Vegas, where a cop slammed me on the ground. 2 of them. 2 grown-ass, big-ass men. And if you guys do not know or cannot tell, I am all of 4'11". I am a petite woman. It didn't take... And I can tell you the story. I can give you the background. Nothing that I did justified them slamming me on the ground. Nothing justified them. I was on the hot it's Las Vegas. I was on the hot pavement in a bathing suit. My lip was swollen. I had burns on my chest. We can go through it, but nothing I did justified that. So I understand this. Even if you comply, if you would have complied, no, there's no if you would have complied. And there's still people out there that think like that. Anyways, so that was the first guy that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Then you meet the mechanic's son, who the son was like, oh, I know who you guys are. You guys are my superheroes, this, that, and the other. And then, they're talking about how, the son was talking about how he wants to be immortal. And I think, I don't know what they were trying to portray with this next scenario, but the son, after Queen and Slim get their car fixed and they're on their way, the son goes to a protest. And of course it's like a Black Lives Matter type protest. And the cops throw a smoke bomb. Everybody clears out. The son walks up to a cop and is like, basically like, come at me, bro. And he's like, come at me, shoot me, shoot me. And I think that's, he's trying to be like this hero, But what ends up happening is the cop, tells him, like, listen, just go home. Like, nobody wants any trouble. And the cop is black too. Nobody wants any trouble. Just go home, please. Then the little boy pulls the gun out on the cop. And the cop is like, what are you doing? Like, I'm trying to tell you, just go home. I'm not trying to fight with you, nothing. Just go home. The little boy shoots and kills this cop. Never in the history of protest has something like that happened. So, and then it just doesn't, to me, it just wasn't a good look for Black Lives Matter. People already compare Black Lives Matter to a terrorist group. So for them to put that in there, it just didn't sit right with me. I didn't like it. I felt like that wasn't necessary. And then come to find out, after the kid shot the cop, we find out later that the cops killed the kid, which rightfully so, like, that's something that's justified. But getting pulled over and not having a weapon, you can't justify that. So then they come across this white couple, and the white couple is like, hey, we're here to help you. The husband is way more eager to help than the wife. And the wife, so anyways, long story short, the SWAT team, FBI, whoever shows up at the white couple's house because somebody called and was like, oh, we see the car and we saw them walk into the house, but they had a hiding spot like underneath these floorboards, underneath the bed. But in the meantime, there's cops surrounding the house. They're trying to figure out how to get out of this house. They jump out the window. Queen dislocates her shoulder. They find a garage with a car, and Slim is, trying to figure a way to hotwire the car, and also pop Queen's shoulder back in place. While he does that, she's crying, and outside the cops are like, I think I hear something. At least the black cop, there was a black cop and a white cop, and he's like, I think I hear something, and the white cop was like, oh, that's just nature. That whole scenario kind of had a lot of, that scenario had symbolism to it, because the white cop said something boy, and the black cop was like, don't call me boy, and the white cop is like, oh, well, you know what I meant. There was just a lot of symbolism when it comes to like how white cops and black cops, might interact with each other and stuff like that. So anyways, the black cop is like, well, I'm going to go, check to see what's going on. So they get the car, Slim gets the car started, and he goes, how are we going to get out here? And on cue, the garage door opens, and it's Queen and Slim staring at this officer, the black officer. And they're literally just like staring at each other. And the black cop moves out of the way and points and goes, go that way. And so the cop helped Queen and Slim get away. And it's like, did he help get away because he knows that Slim shot the cop in self-defense? Is that why? Was he doing it to spite his partner who just called him boy? Like, I feel like there's a couple of reasons as why that cop let Queen and Slim go. So they get to this place where the white couple was like, go to this guy, he'll help you. They end up like on the side of the road. They wake up, and there's this black man he's got like a grill. He's ugly. He's got a shotgun pointed at them, and he's like, Slim was like, oh, do you know the Schaefers? I think that was their name. Isn't that serious? he was like, do you know the Schaefers? And the guy was like, yeah, I know the Schaefers. And you know, they have their reservations about him. And the guy was like, I can get you the plane, like you're in the right spot. And they're like, well, how do we know if you're who you say you are? And he's like, well, you don't know, so you can either sit here and wait for the cops, or you can come with me and I can get you on this plane. Because at this point, Queen and Slim are going to go to Cuba. They're going to escape to Cuba and live their lives in Cuba. Well, they get to the Thuggy Man's trailer, and he makes a call, and he's like, all right, cool, first thing in the morning, you guys are out of here. And they're like, no, we want to leave now, like immediately. And he's like, all right, let me make a phone call. He makes a phone call, and on their way to the plane, I mean, they're just chopping it up like they've been homies and partners for years. They're smoking weed. They're just, having a good conversation, kiki, hee. And they get to the place, and the man drives off. He just drove off. And as Queen and Slim are walking to the plane, you see all the cop cars come. And they stop, and they're holding hands. And it's like a plethora of cops. And they've all got their guns drawn and, freeze, put your hands up, the whole nine. And then all of a sudden you hear a gunshot. And one of the cops shot Queen, like in her chest. She, she bleeds out, she dies. And at that point, Slim picks her up. I mean, her lifeless body in his hands. And he starts walking towards the cops. And they're, screaming and yelling, don't take another step. Don't take another step. Don't take another step. And then all of a sudden, they just start firing their guns. And he collapses with, Queen in his arms, and they kill him. And it's like, it's so sad that things like this really happen to Black people. Like, Black people just can't exist without people just hating. And, like, being Black is a death sentence almost. And, the movie just didn't end the way that I would have liked it to end. And everybody's like, well, what did you expect? What did I expect? I expected a fairy tale. Black people deserve fairy tales. Why? Because this is the stuff that we see on a daily basis. These are the things that happen to us on a daily basis. And it's okay to escape from that every once in a while. I understand why it happened. I understand why the ending happened. But I don't like to see Black trauma. And if I would have known the ending, I would not have gone to see that movie. I don't watch movies like that. I don't watch shows like that. I can't do it. I physically cannot do it. It doesn't sit well with me. And so, I mean, it was just a flood of emotions. And then, at the very end of the movie, they show the Black man that, drove them to the airplane. They showed him counting the money that was promised, because they had reward money for whoever turned them in, and it was $250,000 each. So that's $500,000 that this man got. And they ran into so many other people, including a white couple, that didn't sell him out. And it's like, we're truly our own worst enemies. Like, he sold them people out for $500,000. Those two people died for $500,000. I hate that man. I hate that character more than I hate that dude from Diary of a Mad Black Woman. the one that be in the Medea movies. You guys, I just was not a good feeling. Yeah. It was a good movie, but it didn't end the way that I wanted it to. It's just like watching a football game or, whatever sport you like, and it was a good game, but your team didn't win. Did you enjoy the game? Yeah, it was a great game, lots of close calls. Came down to the final second, but your team didn't win, but it was a good game. And that's how I felt this movie was, obviously on a completely different level. But yeah, it was a good movie. But I could have done without seeing it, I guess. I don't know. So, yeah, that's my take on Queen and Slim. Again, if you guys want to see the movie, I'm not telling you not to watch it. I'm just saying if you can't handle black trauma, don't go see it. So anyways, yeah, that's my video for today. And if you enjoyed it, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. That helps me out a lot. Also, if you enjoy my driving videos, let me know. At this point, that's probably all it's going to be for a while. Do not forget to link up with me on my social media. All of that information will be down below in the description box. And until my next video, I'll see you guys later. Bye.